Gerd, my older sister, she was sent to NoFuel for a place to be. Same thing as I was in Sogndal. She was in NoFuel, and she had been placed with a nice family, and my father was there. My father had gotten there and got hired as a dreng, they called it, somebody to help at the farm. And Gerd could tell of the story when of course she was able to see that he was there and it was okay. His name was Birger Jacobsen at that time, and Gerd had of course been told to keep that a secret. And but they were able to play together out in the field. Gerd was telling me that he was chasing her and she was chasing him, and then he when he caught her, he grabbed her and put her on top of his shoulders, and little kids straddling their legs over their father's shoulder. And he was hopping up and down and laughing, and she laughed so hard that she peed on my father. so that was her big moment. She got to ride horses with my dad. And then later on in the day, or it was at the same time, and I don't know if it was when Gerd was there, but he was still at the farm. And he got the message that he needed to get away because there was going to be a Russia, and that is like
a raid.
What?
A raid
on the farm because they had heard that Knut was somewhere around in the area, and so he had, instead of panicking and running, he just calmly went and got his bike. And he rolled it down the hill, and then he saw over at the other side of the road that there was a barricade. And he got on his bike to just nonchalantly go riding a bicycle, and the chain broke on the bike. And of course, he probably inwardly, he must have been, what am I going to do now, kind of feeling, and not knowing what they would do. So he got the bike and got down on the road. The chain broke, and he thought, "Oh, what the heck!" So he took the chain and pushed the bike over to the barricade and said hello to the German soldiers. And he said, the chain on my bike broke. Could you help me? And they said, "Oh yeah, we'll help you." And they helped him put the chain back and fixed it. And so he was able to go on. And nobody looking at him or anything. And I think they might have asked for his papers, but each time they switched his name, they must have given him new papers with that name and his picture. And he was never called Knut Weiberg at that time because that was the name that he was mainly sought for. But there was 3 other names that he went by, had to change the names, and each one of them had a death warrant on each one of the names. So whatever name he was under that, then they probably hadn't caught on yet, and so he was able to get there. And so that's kind of Gerd's story because she's the one that saw him when he was there. Oh yeah, that was when he actually, I think that raid was at the same time, well, as he had gotten away from the Germans at that time. He biked across the mountains and over to a place called Voss, which is in the same area but on the other side of the mountain and closer to Bergen. And as he was coming into to Voss, one of their people stopped him and said, "Don't go any further. They're looking for you here at Voss," and they had a raid there. And so my father just nonchalantly took his bike, went down to the railroad station, and at the railroad station there is a hotel, Fletcher's Hotel. It's still standing there today. It's been modernized and everything, and it's bigger probably, but it's the same hotel. He walked into that hotel, and it was crowded with German soldiers. And so instead of turning around and getting out of there, he walked over to the bar and sat down on a stool and talked to the soldiers that were sitting there and said that, "Would you buy me a beer?" And they actually bought him a beer, and he sat there and visited with them. So what disguise he had then, I have no idea if he had one even so. So he bluffed his way, and I think that's. I'm not trying to teach anybody how to bluff their way through their lives, but don't let people know that you're bluffing him. He just so nonchalantly talked to them and walked away from it. So, and I have no idea where he went after that, but it was kind of a thing to make me just wow, that my dad was like that. But he was I don't think he was scared. I think he would have been dumb if he wasn't scared, but he knew that the best way to do is just to be calm and then do his natural thing. He would have done the same thing if it was somebody else sitting in there and talking to them. So he was trying to...
They had a hit list on him, and why is it that Hitler was so urgent to get him?
Well, it was because of his work against the Germans. Of course, we didn't know exactly what they all did, and my dad never told us any of the things that he did. But I did catch on that it was just illegal work or working against a demolition. It could be just something like getting a message to somebody else, like he was getting messages from people. I think they had a fantastic network where all these private people, they were not soldiers or anything, Norwegians, that fought against the Nazis. They were not going to let the Nazis get by with it. And my father was not the only hero here. There was hundreds of them. And they worked in different groups. This group did one thing and another thing, and whether it was to stop the Germans from doing something or the information. And I think the information was the main thing that was needed to be done, because if they found out that something was going to happen, then just a civilian would go over and give that message to whoever they were supposed to go and give it to. So I guess you could call it a spy, but it was a spy with a fantastic. Well, spies have networks, and so they were a fantastic network. And there were people helping people get away from Norway. The Jews, for example, there were those that were helping with the Jews, and my dad had done some of that. And also helping people that where things got too hot for them to live in Norway, they got put on little fishing boats and went to Shetland in Scotland. And I know my dad was very much involved with that. And eventually then, about a year and a half before the war was over, they were able to smuggle him on one of those ships when it got too hot. But he never would talk about it. He never would talk about it because, I don't know, but I don't think he wanted anyone to think that he did anything more than what was necessary to do. Okay, today is the 8th of May, 2018. And as we walked through town today, we saw a lot of Norwegian flags at the flagpoles of a lot of people. And we were actually commemorating the 8th of May of 1945. That was the day Norway became free from the Germans. The occupants were leaving like as crazy as fast as they could, and most of them with their tails between their legs. They were ashamed of what they've done, a lot of them. The other ones were hateful, but a lot of them were very humble as they left. I was still in Sogndal, so I wasn't here in Bergen to celebrate it. But I was out in the yard not knowing what was going on in any case. I was 9.5 years old. And she and I were playing hopscotch. And it was my turn, and I had just thrown my little flat rock into one of the squares I was going to jump to get. And just before I started jumping, I looked up kind of to my left, and I saw the Norwegian flag be raised up on the pole, the flagpole, in the doctor's house. He lived right next door to us, and I think I might have mentioned that before. And it scared the heck out of me, because I knew what they could do to us if we even had red, white, and blue in front of us. And the Norwegian flag, of course, is red, white, and blue. And so I looked at Aslo, my friend that I was playing with, and I said, "Oh, let's go in and tell your mom." And we ran down to her house and ran into her mother, and I said, "Please go over and tell the doctor to take the flag down before they see it and kill him." And then she looked at me very softly, and I'll never forget that beautiful smile, kind of half smile. She looked at me and she said, "Elsa, maybe the war is over." And I just absolutely could not believe it. As little as young as I was, I understood what the meaning was. And I ran home then to Hanna and told her that the war was over. And I just saw the tears running down her face. At the same time, she was very sadly, she just grabbed me and hugged me, and she says, "I don't want you to leave me." But anyway, it was a day that I will never forget it, because I still feel the feelings that I did when I saw that flag go up. From then on, 8th of May has been very, very, very sacred to us. However, we even had another thing to celebrate that day, because it was my sister Alfe's birthday. It was her 7th birthday, or 8th, maybe 8th. Anyway, every year when she sees a flag after that, every year the flag went up, and she thought it was celebrating her birthday. So today I am really celebrating Alfred's birthday. Happy birthday, Alfred. And we are celebrating, or we are commemorating the 8th of May 1945.